Welcome. My name is Writer Maven. I am the host of the Wrestling Received podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, JD, Roxanne, and poor Carlito. Tonight was the start of Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Dirty Dom, Daddy Dom, whoever you want to call him, King of Luchadores. This cemented his lie, cheat, and steal era. We're gonna start getting closer to that lovable rogue of Eddie Guerrero's aspect of his character, but for right now, Dom's got to transition. It's probably going to be a slower transition because I don't think they're going to want to rush him to just being a straight face. Because even Eddie was in a straight face, but he'll get there. But it's going to take a little time, and I'd rather him be in this character type now for a while before we get to that point in the first place. But we saw Dirty Dom retain his Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles using Eddie Guerrero's tactics. We did not get Liv. I'm slightly disappointed on this, and I know a lot of Liv fans on the internet are really disappointed. But as a Dominik fan, y'all know I'm a ride or die Dominik fan. I'm a Naomi ride or die. So for Dom, I'm happy. Yes, I'm disappointed, slightly disappointed that Liv did not show up. But we got pretty much everything that we wanted from Dom. He was smart. He had offense against AJ. He won on his own. This is the kicker. There was no Finn. There was no Roxanne because the Roxanne fans want to push this agenda because they see Doms as a means to an end to get Roxanne over for some reason. I'll get into that later. But Dom won on his own. He used his own smarts. He used his own heel tactics. He used Eddie's tactics to win against AJ. I can't ask for anything more than that. Do I want Dom leaving Judgment Day post haste? Yes. Do I want Dom and Liv to leave Judgment Day post haste? Yes. Do I want Judgment Day to implode? Hell yes. But what we got now tonight from Dom is pretty much everything that we wanted. I can't find fault with any of this. We have our disappointments. Yes, we want our wants and wishes regarding Dom, Liv, and Judgment Day, especially regarding how long the storyline has been dragged out. But Dom pretty much was the character and the wrestler that we wanted him to be tonight. He won on his own. That's an achievement in and of itself. It wasn't a fluke victory. It was a decisive victory because he used his own tactics. And now we have the agenda for double champ Dirty Dominik Mysterio lowly. So now we can put our efforts and our attention to Triple Mania in about another 1 or 2 weeks. That's the agenda. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Judgment Day is Judgment Day. We're probably going to have to deal with some slog on Monday. We'll have to see what the fallout is tomorrow. And I'm going to discuss what I think can happen tomorrow. But the agenda, our attention should be on Triple Mania. Yes, I am a Liv Dom fan, and I'm going to mention Liv here too. But regarding Dom, the agenda is Triple Mania, and the agenda is for Dom to become a double champ because that pushes forward the Judgment Day implosion storyline. So let us get into SummerSlam Night 2. Pre-show, or pre-SummerSlam, pre-show. We had a spoiler from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful that they spotted Eddie Guerrero car. We were all excited on the X. We thought it's going to be for Dom. Turned out it was going to be for AJ. I'm going to explain why I think that was kind of foul later on when I get into the SummerSlam match. But we were really excited about that spoiler. And then we were all crushed when we saw what happened at the start of the match because we were really scared when that happened because we were like, oh no. Because things kind of shifted there, at least with our thinking. I was going into it nervous as a cat anyway. But when I saw the AJ and the lowrider, I was like, oh no. But anywho, that was kind of foul on their end, at least from AJ. I don't really blame AJ per se, and probably Dom pretty much signed on it, and everybody who needs to sign up on it. But I just don't like how AJ was the one that got that. So, but I'll get into that later. Pre-show, Dom was interviewed by himself. Again, this is significant. There was nobody around him. There was no Finn. There was no JD. There was no Roxanne. There was no Raquel. It was straight Dom, all by himself. And he was super confident and cocky. And I like that. This is good. I said last night that look to the pre-show to see if we see Finn or any of the other Judgment Day members pop up. Nobody popped up. So unless we were going to get a surprise from some the Judgment Day members, Dom was going to be out there on his own, and that's what pretty much what happened. Dom was on his own, no Judgment Day around. It's kind of a storyline gap there because you would think it would get mentioned where are the Judgment Day members, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to gloss over that little gap in the storyline there because we got Dom on his own. SummerSlam. Dom comes out in a new luchador mask and gear. He looks great. It was kind of like a navy blue skeleton gear. And as we find out later on in the night, he even had socks with a skeleton foot on it. That was a complete look for Dom. I like that navy on him. Darker colors with the bones, channeling La Parka, fits him great. His aesthetic great. I loved it, especially his shout out to Rey Mysterio Sr. with his mask. I like all his tributes to all the luchador greats in history in all of his gear. It's just perfect. Now we get AJ coming out with Eddie's lowrider and Eddie inspired gear. Now, this is what I did not like. First of all, I heard commentary saying they're maybe doing some psychological games because Dom is the 20-year vet and his debut was 20 years ago in the Eddie versus Ray custody battle match. And they're saying, well, AJ's using psychological warfare. First, if he's doing that, that almost makes him more of a heel than Dom is. Dom's doing the heel tactics, but AJ's almost being a heel as well just by doing that. And again, how is it that everybody gets to do the Eddie stuff before Dom? We always want Dom in the lowrider. We always want Dom to do the chair spot. He finally did that tonight, but we always want Dom to do the chair spot, the fake outs, the little Eddie spots that he was known for. We always wanted Dom to start doing that. And then here you come with AJ with the tights. We want Dom to have I know a person on the X that's been drawing up some Eddie inspired tights for Dom, his gear. And they're really lit. And we always want Dom to have maybe one of these matches to have Eddie inspired gear. Eddie inspired ride out in the lowrider. And we haven't gotten that yet. We have Dom in the lowrider last year, but we want the actual Eddie lowrider bit from history. We want that for Dom. And it's always other people doing it. Was it at WrestleMania 39? It was Ray in the lowrider. Now we got Dom in the prison van entrance, so so that was so lit and so awesome for that Dom's entrance there. So we cut that slide at the time. But just having AJ with the lowrider and the gear, I was like, nah, that's foul. I can't excuse that. Especially, and I was gonna bust a fit if Dom had lost because I'm like, what are you doing? You're doing having Dom lose to somebody who is wearing Eddie's gear and Eddie's lowrider? What the heck is going on? But anyway, like I said, that just made AJ a little bit more heelish than Dom at that point because psychological warfare against somebody who had his custody determined in the ladder match. In the match, Dom was smart. Dom was offensive. I have no problems with it. We did get the chair spot that AJ countered. He had a little leg shake there when he did the chair spot, so that was funny. And then we got the spot that Eddie did against Kurt Angle to retain his championship. Dom being calculated. This is not a mistake. This is showing calculation because the camera showed Dom unzipping his boot. So when AJ went for the calf crusher, Dom slips out of his boots and he shoves AJ into the ref. The ref is knocked out, and then he hits AJ with the boot, tosses the boot, gets out on the turnbuckle, hits the frog splash 1, 2, 3, and retains. It's perfect. It's just all of Eddie's tactics, and it's smart and offensive. Dom's not going to come out there and just start knocking people out. He's not going to be like a strictly power move person or wrestler. He has to be smart, and he's smart. He had more offense. He's not running away. That's all we can ask for. And we got, like I said, we saw at the end of the night that even his socks had the skeleton on his socks. So everything about the presentation was perfect. We had AJ be like, oh man, and Dom wins. I can't ask for more. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this match and the Roxanne and Charlie and Alexa match just to get another feel for those matches now that these matches have happened, just so I can see if I can pick up anything else. Maybe I'll have that for tomorrow. There was no Liv. Again, I am slightly disappointed. I thought she was gonna come back, but she didn't. I'm slightly disappointed, and I know Liv fans are disappointed, and again, this is one of those things where the WWE is wrong for that, because you don't need to keep tossing out the clues. There were clues. This is not us being delusional or delulu. We know she has an injury, but other people have shown up on TV with the injury. We're not speaking out our asses with this. Right now, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, she's not gonna show up for December. Right now, Liv can show up anytime between now and December or next year. We don't know. We don't know. Especially now. We don't know. It's up in the air. It's kind of like how the Judgment Day implosion is. We don't know. But you can't fault people for thinking she could come back because they kept talking about her. If they hadn't been talking about her so much or invoking her so much, then people would have been like, oh, she's not going to be out for a while. Because, as WWE does, and Triple H is a creature of habit, when you start talking about somebody on TV, with Brock, this recently, you're going to get a return, or they're imminent a return. So you can't fault Liv fans or other fans or even people like myself that were thinking that she might show up. It is what it is. I feel for Liv fans, but Dom right now is on our TV screens. Dom right now is prepping for another run as a run for King of Luchadores, possibly double champ. That's the agenda right now. If you're a Liv Dom fan, if you're a fan of both, you can be disappointed that Liv hasn't shown up, but you should be excited for what Dom is doing right now. And it's right now, a lot of fans are exposing themselves. And I am seeing Liv fans just crashing out about Liv not showing up and not caring about what Dom did. And then I got Roxanne fans over here saying, wanting Roxanne to help Dom, or Dom to help Roxanne. He's a piece of meat and he can get her over, pretty much having Dom get used like Rhea did. And I'm like, no. Roxanne, I think, is a better character than Rhea, and I think she will be fine. She just needs a direction. Because right now she's kind of wishy-washy like Roxanne. I think whatever this Judgment Day storyline is, once they solidify it, I think she'll be fine, character-wise. But right now, Roxanne does not need Dom to solidify her status. She's fine. And like I said, Dom went on his own, which is huge. And then, like I said, the agenda is Triple Mania, where he can become a double champ and become the AAA Mega Championship. That's the agenda. That's my agenda. The Judgment Day stuff is noise in the background right now. We got these 2 weeks. Is it 1 week or 2 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks. We got these 2 weeks where we got to build up for Triple Mania. I want him seeing interactions with like Kingo. I want Dom's interactions with Dragon Lee. I want Dom's interactions with El Grande Americano Dos. That's what I want. Post show, Dom was on the SummerSlam Plus show. Dom says AJ forgot he was in the ring with a 20-year vet regarding to Eddie's antics. He was hilarious on the post show. He dedicated his match to Liv, and he said that he's going to go see Liv right now, celebrate, and eat some tendies with her. So again, he's showing that connection to Liv and still talking with Liv. Roxanne ain't even in the conversation. People need to start with that right now, especially Cole. I hope Cole backs off on that. Regarding some fallout, it was saying early people are bitching about the saying that there was no storyline progression. There is storyline progression. The progression was Roxanne and Raquel lost their titles, and Dom retained his with no help. That's the storyline progression. Is it what we wanted? Probably not. We all want Dom and Liv out of Judgment Day. We want Judgment Day to implode. We do. But there is storyline progression. Roxanne and Raquel lost the titles, and Roxanne especially got pinned to lose Liv's title. Tonight, Dominik retained his title on his own. So when Raquel was saying that she was going to handle it, that was wrong and it fell through. So there's no title women's tag for the Judgment Day. And that's going to be the fallout tomorrow. And we got to see. Now, Finn is probably going to be upset. Maybe with Dom, but more so that he's losing his authority. But with Finn, it's almost like I'm to the point with Finn where I'm exhausted of him. I love him, but I'm exhausted of him. So they're gonna keep delaying and delaying. I guess they're gonna delay it after Triple Mania or something like that. I don't know. But we just gotta this is something we gotta deal with. And like I said, I think it's probably better for us involved right now, or as Dom fans and Liv Dom fans, it's just to focus on Dom. The Judgment Day stuff is noise. I'm gonna still cover it, and I'm gonna keep pointing out the inconsistencies and how things don't make sense. But my enjoyment right now is just gonna come from Dom at this particular moment. Liv also congratulated Dom on the X in her post. And like I said with Liv, she still can pop up at any time. She could be showing up tomorrow. She could show up at Triple Mania. She could show up whenever. At this point, I don't know. It's up in the air, and I can't make any more predictions. I can't predict anything else regarding this Judgment Day shit. So it's up in the air. Also, the more interesting thing is Carmelo Hayes saying not for long when the WWE had a post saying and still for Dom. Carmelo Hayes saying not for long. Now I like Carmelo. I would not mind this little feud for Dom, but Dom's gotta win that. I kind of wish Carmelo could establish himself more because he deserves that. I need him to start building himself up more against some other people, but Carmelo versus Dom could be a fun feud because I do like Carmelo, and Carmelo and Dom have had a really nice match in NXT. So it's going to be a good match. I just hope that they structure it that it helps out both Carmelo and